Okay, right. So, those of you that just came in, yesterday on the WhatsApp group, I sent a worksheet with 3 questions, which you guys had to do for today. So, if you kind of lost, go back and go check. I am going to mark. What I'm aiming to do is I'm going to revise a chapter per day. Okay, so that we then have a final day to just revise in general, and then on Monday you guys are writing your test. Okay. Yeah, but I'm going to give you a worksheet now, and then tomorrow I'll send the answers so that, yes. Yeah? Monday. Let me just check because grade 9s. I'll just quickly check once we finished. Because the initial one on D6 said Monday. So I'll just check. As far as I've got it, it's Monday. But we'll double check that. Okay, right. So, question 1 says, state whether the following equations are true. Let me just quickly take that away. There we go. Okay, state whether the following equations are true or false. Okay, now, you don't have to show calculations when I ask you a question like that, but obviously I'm going to show it to you to explain. Now, right, so x to the power of 1 plus x to the power of 2. First things first, these two terms, are they like terms? Okay, maybe I must first ask, what are like terms? With the same, not base, with the same unknown, yes. So the unknown and the exponents must be the same. So I'm going to ask my question again. Are those two like terms? Because the one has got x to the power of 1, and the other one, x to the power of 2. So the exponents aren't the same. Take it out of your ear, please. So was I then allowed to go and add? No. So could I then have an answer of x to the power 3? No. Okay, so 1.1 will be false. When would it have been true? Okay, first things first, I couldn't go and add because they're not like terms, so it would be exactly the same thing. No? Yes. But if they gave me this, x to the power of 1 times x to the power of 2. Now, because base is the same and we are multiplying, I can go and add my exponent. So then it would have been x to the power of 1 plus 2. And that is actually going to give me x to the power 3. So that's how they wanted to confuse you guys. Yeah. No. Okay. Does everyone understand that part? Okay. I'm just going to take the right-hand side off. Can I take this part off? Okay. I want to delete it just now because I don't want kids to see it later on. Right. 1.2. 28x to the power of 5 divided by 7x to the power of 2. Okay, now that's the same as writing it in a fraction. X to the power of 5 divided by 7x to the power of 2. Okay, now I could go and cancel out. So 7 will go into itself once, and 7 will go into 28 how many times? 4. Okay, now x to the power of 2 and x to the power of 5. I can only take the x to the power of the smallest exponent. No. So x to the power of 2 I could take. And if I take x to the power of 2 at the top, it would have been, how many would be left? 3. Okay, so that answer would be 4x to the power of 3. So 1.2, would it be true or false? Right, so therefore, it would be true. Again, in the test, you just have to write true or false. I'm just showing how we actually got to that answer. Right. Any questions there? 1.3. Y times negative y to the power of 2. Okay, so let's go first work out. What's the first thing, according to BODMAS, that I've got to do here? The brackets. Now, how do I get rid of the bracket? That 2, that's actually y and then minus y times minus y. Do you guys agree? Okay, so let's go multiply those brackets first. So this first y is going to stay exactly like it is. Now, a negative times a negative is going to give me a positive. And y times y? Y squared. So I have got this. Do you guys agree? Okay, and now y times y to the power of 2 is going to give me... Sorry, I wanted to do that. There we go. So it's going to be y to the power of 3. Now, look at my answer here. What do they have? Negative y to the power 3. So would it be true or false? There we go. Ah, fine cake. Right. Any other questions there? Sorry. Okay. Any other questions there? Can I skip? Right. Okay. Now at question 2, take that away again. Okay. At question 2, it says simplify and write your answers with positive exponents. Okay. So what we then do is one of two ways. You first work out the whole thing and then your final answer. Just see whether all your exponents are positive, and if it's not, then we change it. No. Or option 2, you change all your exponents right from the start so that they're positive. Okay, but either way, it would be correct. Okay, so 2.1. A to the power of 2 times A to the power of 4. Okay, base is the same and we're multiplying. So what do we do with exponents? We add them. So you should have A to the power of 6. No, in this case, it would have counted 1, maybe 2 marks. So then that middle step you didn't have to do. Okay, now minus x to the power of 2 divided by x to the power of minus 7. Right. Now, did you guys write it in the form of a fraction or do you keep it like that? Okay. Right, so that's the same as minus x to the power of 2 over x to the power of minus 7. Okay, now that minus is going to stay there. No. Okay, now because it's division, what do I do with my exponents?
You switch them.
No, not switch.
You switch the whole thing.
Okay, wait, sorry. I'm saying not switch. Do you mean I'm going to take that to the top?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that is correct. Yes. Okay, so that's one option. Or you could have said we are dividing, so we're going to subtract my exponents. No, and then it's going to be minus 7. So it's eventually also going to become a positive. Okay, so you are going to have minus and then x to the power of 2 minus 7.
That just feels wrong.
Okay, or what you wanted to do is minus x to the power of 2, and then I take that one to the top, so then x to the power of positive 7. Okay, and then that's going to become minus, or let me just write it on this side, minus x to the power of 2 plus 7. No, so it's going to give me minus x to the power of 9. Can you see that minus just tagged along all the way? No.
But then don't you put it over 1, ma'am, and then switch?
No. You can put it over 1,
Yes, ma'am.
but we didn't have to switch because that exponent is already positive.
Didn't the, oh, I thought the whole thing has to be positive.
No. Just, it says with positive exponents. Okay. You fine with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. 2.3. Nou het ek myself gesnoeker met spasie, maar toe maar. 2a to the power 3 times 6ab squared c. Right? So it's normal multiplication. 2 times 6 is going to give me 12. And then I've got a to the power 3 and I've got a to the power of 1. So I'm going to add those. 3 plus the 1, which means a to the power of 4. B to the power of 2, there were no other b's, so it stays b to the power of 2. And c stays the c. Yes. I think I'm skryfie. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, there's the b, so this is going to become, yes. Sorry, Yella. There we go. Okay, are we now good?
Yes, ma'am.
Swat. Okay, 2.4. Okay, 2x to the power of 0 plus 2x in brackets to the power of 0. Okay, so let's stop there. Anything to the power of 0 will be 1. Right. 1. Ooh, jy's lekker geroes. Okay, so does that to the power of 0 apply to this 2?
No, ma'am.
So that will become 2 and then actually times 1. But do we have to write it?
No, ma'am.
No. So it's just 2 then. Okay. Plus, and then over here the 2x is in brackets. So that to the power of 0 applies to the whole bracket. So that whole thing will be 1. So my answer there will just be 3. Any questions? You good? Ja.
Would it be right if you write x, ma'am? Yeah, ma'am. I should write x.
Nee, waar kom jy met x?
Ma'am, because it's times what was that x, ma'am? 3. Then actually,
What?
it's fine if you just write
Wait,
it.
yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Since that 1 is a placeholder. Couldn't it be?
So you wanted to do this.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I
Nee, Cookie, 1x and x. 1x and 1 is not the same thing. Nee? No, the x is gone.
Now, isn't 3x the same as 3, ma'am?
No, yeah.
Because 3 times what, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so if you had any x at 2.4, it's wrong, no? Yes. Where did they go? Remember, anything to the power of 0 will be 1. So, over here, that x to the power of 0 becomes 1. Not to the power of 1. The whole thing is just 1. No. Grade 9. Hey, you guys at the back.
The 1 is
So, okay, he's asking a legit question. So, that is now 1. No. So, it's actually 2 times 1. And that is just 2. Okay. No. The whole thing becomes 1. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No. You can use any number and make it to the power of 0 and your answer will still be 1. So that is why even if we have an unknown, we don't know what the number is yet, but it doesn't matter. Because it doesn't matter what that number is, that to the power of 0 will still be. It can be. Where does it come from? It comes from logs, but julle is nog nie daar nie. That's going to be grade 10, 11. Okay. Right. Can I skip? Shh, julle oukies, kom. Right, 2.5. 2.5, we have 2x to the power of 4 and that to the power of 2 times 2x to the power of 3. Okay, so according to BODMAS, we've first got to sort out our brackets. Now that to the power of 2 applies to everything inside the bracket. So 2 to the power of 2 will be 4. Now x to the power of 4 to the power of 2. What do we do when we have a power to the power? We multiply. So it would be 4 times 2. So that's why it becomes x, x to the power of 8. Okay. Who doesn't understand up until there? Right. So now it's normal multiplication. 4 times 2 gives me 8. And now x to the power of 8 times x to the power 3, because base is the same and we're multiplying, we're going to add. Yeah, jy was reg. We're going to add, sorry. Okay, and the 8 plus the 3 is going to give me x to the power of 11. You guys good? Right. Dis ek verkeerd. Okay, remember my Z, I just draw a line through, nee, want hy lyk lelik. Okay, so you can cancel out or you can write it as minusing the exponents. No, but they said, isn't this where they said no negative exponents? Okay, right, so let's rather cancel out. Okay, so x to the power 3, and at the bottom I've got x to the power of 2. So what can I take away from each one of those? X to the power of 2. Okay, so this one can go. Over here, there were 3, but I'm only taking 2. So how much is left? 1. Yeah, or just the x or x to the power of 1. Doesn't matter. Same thing. Okay, now y to the power of 4, y to the power of 4. I can take the full y to the power of 4. No? Yes. It's 4 at the top and 4 at the bottom. So it's the same. Okay, then over here I've got z. And at the bottom, z to the power 3. So I'm just going to take the z. Okay, so cancel that z. And if I take a z at the bottom, how many would be left? 2. Okay, so at the top, what's left? X. Or x to the power of 1. Not just 1, eh? Right, at the bottom, that's scratched out. This is scratched out. So z to the power of 2. Yes, it would be wrong because if I were to move this to the top, it's going to become z to the power of minus 2. Yes. You guys good? Hello, excuse. Okay. Right, can we go to 2.7? Any questions so far? Joshua. Front, please. Okay, right. 2.7. X to the power of a half times x to the power of a half minus 1. Okay, when we get something like that, BODMAS tells me first get rid of the brackets. How do we do that again? We're going to not exactly foil, but like it. Yes, we're going to multiply in. So this x to the power of a half, I've got to multiply with that and with this. Do you guys remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so x to the power of a half times x to the power of a half. Base is the same and we're multiplying. So what do I do with exponents? I add. And what's a half plus a half? 1. No, so it looks like it's going to be very difficult, but it's plain and simple. And x to the power of 1 is actually just x. Okay, so you could leave it like that. Okay, and now x to the power of a half times minus 1 will be minus 1 x to the power of a half. Or if you wanted, you could just have written that. And could I go any further? No, because they're not like terms, no? Okay, so that would be where you stop. Are you guys okay?
No.
Remember, you've got to ask questions now because we're revising exponents. Okay, ask.
Can you do that again, please?
Yes. Okay, so you understood the part where I had to take this term and multiply it with everything inside the bracket. No. Okay, so let's do the first one. We're going to multiply those two. So x to the power of a half times x to the power of a half.
Then you add them up.
Yes, base is the same and we're multiplying, so I'm adding the exponents. So the half plus that half is going to give me x to the power of 1. But we don't have to write the 1. No.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So next, I'm going to take x to the power of a half and multiply it with minus 1. And then it's just minus 1 x to the power of a half. Yes. Are you good? You understand it now? Anyone else? Right. Can I skip?
You can't do that calculation because they aren't like terms.
Yes, because the exponent here is a 1 and the exponent there is a half, so they're not the same, so not like terms, so I couldn't go and subtract.
And if it was x minus x, then what would the answer be?
And then 0. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else?
Is 0 a number?
You guys fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, so let's skip. Let's go to number 3. Number 3 says solve the equation. Okay. Now 3.1 says 5, and what does that dot mean again? Times 2 to the power of x is equal to 40. All right. Now, what do I first have to do? Yes. Okay, I want to get rid of this 5 because I can't multiply them because that exponent only applies to the 2, no? So my only option is to get rid of this 5. And how do I do that? She's saying take it over, or I know some of you say, okay, I want to do that. No, I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides, then I'm getting rid of the 5. Do you guys get that? Okay, so then on the left-hand side, what would be left? 2 to the power of x, and on this side, I'm going to have 8. No.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Now, when my exponent is the unknown, the first thing you want to do is get base the same. No. Okay, I'm going to write that here. Get base the same. Right. So, the left-hand side is going to stay 2 to the power of x. And on that side, instead of 8, I want 2 to the power of something. But it must still be 8. No. So 2 to the power of 1 is just going to give me 2. So it can't be to the power of 1. 2 to the power of 2 is going to give me 4. So it must be 2 to the power of 3. Do you guys get that? So just instead of 8, I wrote 2 to the power of 3. Why? Because now my base is the same on both sides. So now I can go and look just at my exponent. So therefore, and you don't have to write the therefore, x is equal to 3. Do you remember that? Huh?
Yeah, I
Okay, let's look at 3.2. 3 to the power of 2x minus 6 is equal to 1. Okay, fine. So could I move anything around over here? No. Then look at what we wrote over here. I have got to get my base the same because the unknown is at exponents. So over here on the left-hand side, I've got 3 to the power of something. So on the right-hand side, I also want 3 to the power of something. Now 3 to the power of what will be 1? Yes. Okay, so 2x minus 6. And then instead of this 1, I just write 3 to the power of 0. You guys get that?
Yes, I just want to check the answer, man.
Okay, now, base is the same on both sides, which means that now I can just look at exponents. So I can say that the 2x minus 6, the exponent on the left, will be same as the exponent on the right.
So that's the answer.
No, not yet.
Yes, sir.
So now we've got to solve x. Yes, now I've got to get rid of that minus 6, so I say plus 6 on both sides. So your answer there will be 2x is equal to 6. And now we've got to get rid of the coefficient. So I divide both sides by 2, which means that x is equal to 3.
Yo, man, do you always have to get the base the same?
Yes.
Because my
If your
answer is 2, man.
No, if your exponent is an unknown,
Yes, man.
then you have to get the basis the
Yes,
same.
I always have to, right?
Okay, from where?
From the beginning, man.
Okay. Let's just quickly run through it again, because I know you guys sometimes struggle with this. Okay, so first things first, can you see my exponent has got an unknown? Okay, now we said when that's the case, we have to get base the same on both sides. So because over here I've got a base of 3, I want to change that 1 so that it's also got a 3 to the power of something. I want a base of 3. And 1 is the same as 3 to the power of 0. Okay, so now at this step, can you see my base is 3 on both sides? Which means that now I can go and have a look at my exponents. So next step, I take this exponent and make it equal to that exponent. So 2x minus 6, same as exponent on the right-hand side. Do you get it up until there? Okay, now remember we have got to solve x. So I want x alone. So we've got to break away bit by bit. Remember we had those 3 steps? Get unknowns on the left, normal numbers on the right. No? And then step 2, we did coefficient. And then step 3 was the exponent. Remember that? Huh? Okay, so that's what we're doing here. Unknowns on the left, okay, already on the left. Normal numbers we want on the right. So that one has got to go. It's got to be on this side. No? So we said, how do we get rid of that? We say plus 6 on both sides. No? So then this is going to be 0. So that's why I've only got the 2x left. Oops. Okay, and 0 plus 6 is going to give me that 6. Now, step 2 is get rid of that coefficient. And how do I do that? I'm going to say divide by 2 on both sides. And that is how I get to x is equal to 3. Are we good? Right. Okay, so that was your homework. So now we're moving on to what you guys don't like, yeah?
God, man, maybe like give us one. The standing game.
One of these.
Yeah, the standing game. And so we can like do it.
Practice it some more.
Yeah.
Okay, I will. I just quickly want to hand this out. I'm scared the time is going to
Maybe
pass
the
up
time for
here.
a standing game.
Yes, there is.
Why?
When is the bell ringing? How many minutes?
When do we get to?
Grade 9. I didn't circle the pages because I thought you can paste it in your book. Okay. And you can see that you can answer on that page. I'm going to scratch out 3 sums that you have.
I know that. I know the answer to it. What is x plus 8x? It's 8x squared, right? No. Yeah, the answer is 8x squared over 12. Where do you see the x plus? No, the number one answer is 8x squared over 12. X plus 8x. 8x. 8x squared. What's that?
Can anyone do extra? I'll give you 2. Okay, now I still need 1 more stick. Okay, right people, please scratch out. The online people, I'll send you a photo just now. Please leave out. .4, 2.5, and 2.6. 1 point, that's on the board. 1.4, 2.5, and 2.6. Those 3 you guys do not do. So just scratch it out. Those 2 pages. It's not back to front, is it? The second page is. Oh, sorry. Okay, but you can just cut on the side and then paste the margin so that you can still flip it over. Right? Paste it in your book and you can answer on those pages. That is your homework for tomorrow. Okay. Right. People online, I'm going to stop the recording.